Welcome to Math with Mr. J. In this video, we're going to talk about how to find the area of a composite figure. And on your screen there, we have number 1 and number 2, and those are both examples of composite figures. So what we need to do in order to find the area of these, we need to separate them into simpler shapes that we know how to find the area of. That way, we can find the area of the simpler shapes, add them together, and it will give us the area of the whole composite figure. So let's jump right into number 1 and see exactly what I mean by that. So for number 1, the first thing I want to do is again separate into simpler shapes. So I'm going to cut this into 2 rectangles. And I'm going to draw a dashed line here to represent where I'm cutting it. Now I'm going to name the left rectangle A and the right rectangle B. And that's going to help keep me organized as I work through this problem. So I know that finding the area of a rectangle, area equals length times width. So now let's find the area of our rectangle A and rectangle B. So A and B. So area equals length times width. All right, now I need to plug in length and width. So my length for A is going to be this 8 all the way up, right? Don't use this 6 because this 6 doesn't go the full length of the rectangle. So you have to be careful which measurements you use. So I'm going to use the 8 and I'm going to multiply it by the width of 3. And that gives me an area of 24 square inches. So the area of A, area equals 24 square inches. Now let's do B. Area equals length times width. Let's plug in. Length is going to be this 2 inches here. So 2 times the width of 7 inches. Do not use the 10. The 10 goes all the way across. We only want right here, which is that 7 inches. So area equals 2 times 7, 14 square inches. So the area for B is 14 square inches. So now that we have the left rectangle and the right rectangle, the area of those, we add those together in order to get the area of the whole shape. So we would do 24 plus that 14. And that gives us an answer of 38. So our final area is 38 square inches. So again, we separated into simpler shapes and then found those areas, added them together for the area of the whole composite figure. Now for number 1, we could have cut that this way as well and made a top and a bottom rectangle. So usually there's multiple ways to separate a composite figure. It doesn't matter which way you separate it, but it does matter which numbers you use, which dimensions you use going around for your length and width. So that's something you need to be careful of. So let's jump into number 2 here and see how we do this one. This one's a little more complex. Now for this one, I'm going to cut it into, or separate it into 3 simpler shapes here. And I have 2 rectangles and a square. So I'm going to name A, B, and C. So let's find the area of these 3. So area equals length times width. I'll put my formula first, and then we will plug in. So for A, our length is going to be this 5 all the way up. So we have 5 centimeters times the width of 2 centimeters. And that gives us an area of 10 square centimeters. So let's do B. Now B, we have a length of right here or right here, and we don't have a measure there, so we're going to need to figure it out. So we know the whole shape is 5 centimeters, right? So if we have this 3, what's this going to have to be in order to get us to that 5 centimeters? Well, it's going to have to be 2 centimeters. And again, I figured that out because this 3 right here plus this 2 centimeters equals the total height of the 5 centimeters given to us on the left and right hand side. So sometimes in composite figures, you have to figure out some measurements that aren't given. So our length is going to be 2 times the width of 3 centimeters, which is given. So 2 times 3 gives us 6 square centimeters. And lastly, for C, we have a square here, 5 by 5 square. So our length is 5 and our width is 5. So our area is going to be 25 square centimeters. So now we need to add these together. 10 plus 6 plus 25. 10 plus 6 is 16. Plus 25 is going to give us 41. So the area, I'm going to put it in the top right corner where I have some room. Area equals 41 square centimeters. And that's our final answer for number 2. Now, just like number 1, there's multiple ways to solve for that answer. But again, what's most important is picking out the correct measurements for your lengths and widths. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, peace.